So the other day, I went to the store and go check out a new smartphone. Because Googling it just makes no sense to me. It all looks the same, like all same size, whatever. So I actually had to physically go into the store, hold them in my hand to see what works for me. But what I got, it was an amazing metaphor for dating and how we settle for less and all these things. And I'm like, okay, I just wanted to go check out a new smartphone, but I got so much more here. So I didn't buy a smartphone, but I had an amazing metaphor that I'm going to share here. So here we go. So I went into the store. A friend of mine, he actually works there. He was showing me around, like there's an ocean of smartphones, and I'm like, oh, this is overwhelming. So he directed me, like I said, my budget is around like whatever 30 euros a month with the contract and the actual smartphone. And I'm like, yeah, 30 euros, that's okay, that's my budget right now. And he was like pointing me to several phones, none of which did something to me. Like my soul fire didn't ignite. And I was like, yeah, they're cool, but yeah, but what about this one? This one's pretty. This one was also the most expensive one of all the smartphones. That's not true, but it was one of like the most up to date, like the one of the most expensive ones. Of course, I don't know why, but yeah. This actually did stir something. I want to have this in me, you know? It did something to me. Anyway, that was beyond my budget. And he put all the numbers down, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit on that. And driving home, I knew that it has to be this phone, not because I always have to have the latest shit, but because it stood for something, you know. Like I'm having a brand. I'm an entrepreneur, and I do video content and photography, and I have a shop and all these things. Like I'm working with this phone, and I need a good camera, and I want to be able to take amazing pictures and do good video content, you know, like the visual, like the quality of it is one of my standards as a creator. And I was like, okay, the other phones, they're pretty good, of course, but they're a little bit less good quality-wise. Also, they're smaller, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like my heart and my soul was a match for this one phone. And everything in me, like, I feel into things a lot, and I'm not going into my head trying to make decisions like that, but first I check how I feel. And this expensive phone, it made me feel something. The other phones, it felt like settling for less. And then the metaphor came. Because I knew that I knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted to feel. And this expensive phone, this special, let me call it epic cosmic special phone. You know why I'm calling it that. It's ridiculous. But you know, this special phone and we were a match. Like this was, oh my God, this was, it made me feel something. It made me feel how I want to feel. It lived up to my standards, to my values. And it's the same like with dating, or like not dating per se, but meeting a guy or a girl, you know. I'm just talking from my perspective, so I'm gonna say man or guy. It's the same as like with meeting people. Like I know how I want to feel. I know my values and what's important to me. I know how I want to feel with the guy. And it's this epic cosmic feeling, like this passion, but also the safety, you know. I know how I want to feel. Just like I knew how I wanted to feel with the phone. And it's that phone. Even though it was like, but I'm gonna get to that later, like the budget was like a little bit out of my budget. The man's out of my budget. No, I'm kidding. Jeez. I'm having a good time here. I don't know. But I know how I want to feel with the phone, or with a certain kind of guy I would wanna like spend a long-term aspiring part of my life with, you know? But any other phone, it would have been good and it would do the job well, but it would be settling for less, because it wasn't as much a match for me and what I wanted and my needs and my values, like taking the best photos and the best videos, you know, the quality and just the feeling, yeah. And it's the same with when we go out and meet new people, or like dating, basically. There are guys and probably it's all working out fine, you know, like you can say, yeah, we get along well, he makes me feel good, he makes me feel seen, and it makes no sense that it's not, oh my God, but just, yeah, good, you know the difference? Because we meet so many amazing people and we get along well, we have a good time, but it's not this epic, like, what the fuck is just happening? Like, this is like a real match. And we could be super happy with the smaller phones. We could be so happy with the, oh yeah, that's good kind of people in our lives, or like partners, whatever kind of connection you desire. But do you like, there's a difference, like in the feeling, like one is, yeah, that's good. But if you really feel into it, there's something that is actually like igniting your freaking soul fire. One is good and yeah, great even maybe, and doing the job well, but the other is like, oh my God, that is epic. Yes, that's a real match. And that was like the first revelation I had. Oh yeah, right. Because and now I was in the position, because like my budget, like the Epic phone, it was like above my budget, like almost double. And I'm like, Jesus, almost double. So I was so close to settling for less, because what I actually wanted and felt good and was in alignment with what I wanted and my needs and my desires and standards, it was beyond my reach. Allegedly. It appeared. But, you know, we see, okay, that's beyond my budget, that's out of reach. I have to, like, what else is there? So we settle for less, because we assume that it's not possible anyway. Like, we settle for partners that are amazing people, of course, but they don't ignite soul fire in a way that is possible. And I'm a fucking romantic like that. I believe it is, because I've experienced it. And I know I'm gonna again, so, but bear with me. So we settle for less because we fear, or we somehow believed that this epic thing, it's not possible, it's out of our reach, it doesn't even exist. Like, oh no, this epic kind of love, it doesn't exist. It's all trauma bond, which I don't believe that. Like, there are so many different kinds, and some of it's trauma bond, but some it's just fucking epic cosmic connection. So but we started to believe that, oh no, this doesn't exist anymore, because we're not willing to wait. Maybe we will meet this person when we're 60. But who ever said that we had to find this person by the time we're 25? Like, I did a post on that, like this pressure of time, of weird timelines that we buy into, having found someone by the age of 30 or whatever. But you know, we settle for less because we fear that's as good as it's gonna get. And I don't want to live my life like that. Not with guys, not with partners, not with a phone, not with anything. So, and also, like, people might have been able to say to me, you're in no position to choose because of your, bank account. People might have said, this phone, even though it's the soul fire igniting phone, you're in no position to choose because you don't have the means. Well, these are not my thoughts, but it could, like, theoretically, could have been true. Just like with guys, like, you're in your late 30s, you're in no position to choose because everyone else is taken. So you're in no position to choose. You have to, to get the guy that's there, that makes sense right now. And I'm like, I'm not gonna settle for this either. I'd rather have no phone at all than to settle for less. And then I went into, like, actually, like I said, actually checking out my bank account and finding out, like, it's actually possible that I can afford this thing. It's a stretch. No lying about that. It would have been a stretch, but it is in fact possible. Just like with the guy. I truly do believe that it is possible to have a connection like that, like an epic cosmic connection with a guy, and I truly believe that this person is there. I truly believe it's there. It's there. This connection is there. The person is there. I was actually in a position where I got to choose, like I said. Do I really, really want to have this phone? Yes, I do really, really want to have this phone. But just like with the guy, like, I trust that the guy's there. Is it actually already time for me to meet this kind of person? Or is there another type of connection I need to, like, learn something with first? So when we come to the point where we know what we want and we realize we actually have the means, or like we trust that the guy is actually there. We know the guy is actually there because there are so many people on this earth. Like, what are the odds of you're not finding someone that is right for you whenever, like I said, it doesn't have to be like in your 20s. It can be later, but the person's there. But now we get to choose, is it the right thing now? Do we really want to have it now? And maybe it's a yes, maybe it's a no. For the phone, it was a clear yes. So, and then I thought, like, it doesn't fucking matter. Even if the means were, even if I didn't have the money to get this phone, who's to say that that by the time I actually have to pay it, or like each month, like this installment, who's to say that I'm not generating the money when I need it? Like, how? And I was like, this was mind blowing for me, because, like, just because something isn't there yet doesn't mean it's not gonna be. Like, why would how it is now? Why would it be like this forever? If I didn't have the money for the phone now, why would this always be the case until my dying day? Like, it can change any day. Like, it evolves. Like, why would it even come to mind that this is like, oh, I don't have the means, so it's a no? Like, like, who's to say I won't have the means by the time I need them? So, and that was like exactly the point with the guy. Like, the guy's there, but even if the person is not really available right now because this person is still in some kind of other connection, or even in a marriage, which makes it always harder, like, to separate because of the whole bureaucracies thing. But who, like, even if the person's not available right now, would we still settle for less? If we have another learning lesson with another person, yeah, sure. Or, but why would we settle for something long term when we know, okay, no, I know how I want to feel? And even if this person's not available, who's to say that the person's not going to be available after they broke up with whoever they're with right now? Because, like, maybe in 2 years, your epic partner separates from the person they're not epic partners with. And then all of a sudden, the means, quote unquote, they're there when you're ready for them. So, to conclude this smartphone metaphor, I love walking through life like this, like being inspired by the most random shit things. And I like the other day, but that's a whole different story. I went looking for my matcha tea in my kitchen and I didn't find it for the life of me. And I have a very small kitchen. And I was faced, do I want to give up or do I really want to have it? I found it. I had a delicious matcha latte. But like it's our like it's in us. It's our choice how we deal with things. Yeah? And the most random things in everyday life, they inspire me the most almost because it's so simple. Sometimes it's so simple. And it makes me realize that all choices or all things can be as simple as that. Like with the smartphone, I know what I want. I know my standards, and that's like the most important thing. We have to know ourselves. We have to know what we want, how we want to feel, and our values, our needs, how we tick, and what we want to have in our lives, be it stuff or equipment or people, partners. And like with the phone, I knew what I wanted. Everything else would feel like settling for less. And every time I looked at the smaller second best phone for me, it would have been, oh dear. I wouldn't feel abundance. But looking at the other phone that is already on its way to my home, every time I'm gonna pick up this phone, I'm gonna be like, though, it was so worth the extra $20 a month, because every time I'm picking up this phone, I know that this is a match. I know that this fills me up. This is me. This is in alignment with me and with my values and what I want and how I want to feel. And it's the same with a commitment to a partner. Like I committed to this phone, but it's the same like with long-term aspiring connections, Do we want to settle? And it's not settling if you feel like, okay, in this phase of my life, it's the right thing because there's something to learn, something to experience. It's all fine because I highly believe, truly believe that each connection, like there are connections that are simply beautiful learning lessons for us. But that's exactly the thing. We have to know what we want, and then we have to trust that we can have it. And then we get to choose, do we really want to have this right now? And if it's no, okay, then like, okay, maybe a learning lesson here, maybe here, like a smaller phone for the next year, whatever. But then maybe next time, like, or if it's a yes, like I want this and I want this now. Trust that it's there and be open and go out and do whatever it's necessary to go for what you want. And even if the means aren't actually there, trust that they're gonna be. Even if the guy isn't there, or the guy you would want to be with, or the person you want to be with, but there was someone else, trust that by the time you're both ready for each other, you're gonna be. So that's that. I hope you had fun. I had fun. And see you next time.